if I'm always contradicting and wondering whether God is a healer in my own life. So we've got to learn how to speak positively into our own lives before we can effectively minister to others. Am I in a praying house? No longer can we allow ourselves to speak death into our lives, but rather the time has arrived and passed for us to speak life into our daily situation, and do so in a manner where we know within our hearts that everything we set our minds to do shall be done, and we shall be the people in whom the Lord can use and work through. We as people of God must begin to speak life into our situations, and we must on this day stop saying that we cannot achieve. Y'all don't want to say nothing to that. That we cannot go and that we cannot handle and what we cannot overcome, but rather we must stand firm in Christ and recognize that with God all things are still. And that's the problem today. Some of us have forgotten about God. Some of us have forgotten how God brought us through dangers seen and unseen, how God made ways for our mothers and our fathers, how God took care of our slave ancestors. And if God took care of them, surely he can take care. That's why God has led us to this proverb, Proverbs 18:21. Give it to me, Clancy. We can find it in the A clause where we find this encouraging word today. Listen to it if you please. The tongue has the power, preach boy, of life and death. And since we've been charged early in our Christian walk to believe every word of the Bible, we must, if you will, grasp this word today, because this word is just as true as the Lord is my shepherd. Y'all missed that. This word right here, talking about the power, the tongue has the power of life and death. That scripture is just as relevant as be ye faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Some of us have a problem with certain scriptures, but we must recognize today that from Genesis to Revelations, there's a word designed for what we're going through. This word, just as straightforward and just as real as any other word in the biblical canon. Give it to me again, Clarence, if you can. Look at what it says. The tongue has the power of life. Clarence, you're doing all right. Of life and death. I would submit that what we speak over our lives is what will ultimately happen. I know I'm messing with some of y'all's mind today. If you keep on speaking that you're crazy, eventually you're going to be crazy. If you keep on saying you're going to be sick, I don't even say I feel like I got a cold coming. I don't even allow my mind to take me to that level that I feel like the flu. I don't feel, how do you feel? I feel good. Eyes could be red, sinuses could be swollen, allergies could be going off the charts, but I feel great. Why? Because I'm not claiming no negative stuff in my life. I'm not claiming no death-defying stuff in my life. But what I'm claiming is a victory in my life in every area of mine. If you say you broke, this is for you senior saints who have children and your children ask you for $1 and you say, I don't have any money. Stop saying you don't have any money. Just say, I don't want to give you $1. Buy me a car. Don't have no money to buy your car. Stop telling that. You've got the money to buy the car, but you just choose not to. If you say you're broke, eventually you'll have money troubles. And all of this, I know, sounds strange. You didn't come here today to hear this crazy talk. Sounds strange because to the natural eye, no one can understand how one can literally speak something bad into their life. But I would submit that the same way you stand outside of an office tomorrow, and you apply for a job, and before you go in there, you say, I'm going to get this job. And you walk in, sit down, somebody ought to have this testimony. And you score well on the interview, which ultimately lands you the job. It's the same way You can stand outside of the same door and say, I don't know whether I'm able to land this job because of this, that, or the third. And after the interview's over, because of your negativity, the employer says, unfortunately, we cannot hire you at this time because of this, that, or the third. Now, let me teach this here today because I want you to understand something. It's not about the word. It's a mind thing. Because when I stand outside that door and I say within myself, somebody ought to help me teach, that I cannot be or I cannot do or I cannot achieve, I'm going to go in that office with that mentality. You missed it. You missed it. When I go in there for that job and the person sitting behind the desk is interviewing me and I am answering his questions in a weak, a scary, a fearful, a don't know whether I know whether it's right or wrong way, it's going to reflect in the end product. If I'm a house builder and you hire me to build you a house, and I walk on the lot and there's nothing there but bare ground, and I get nervous and all jittery, and I know I have to build a house. I've built houses before, but if I walk there and I say to myself, I don't know whether I can build this house. From the time I start, some of y'all looking at me funny, to the time I finish, if I finish, there's going to be something wrong because I'm not going to feel like I'm capable. Anybody in here ever felt incapable? Anybody in here ever felt like you could not? I know you ain't going to raise your hand because you don't want nobody to know. But there are times in the life of the Christian when we feel incapable. But I serve notice today that if you are a child of the King, you are capable of doing anything your mind. Well, Pastor, you know, I'm getting old now. And I don't see like I used to. And I can't drive like I used to. No, it's not that you're getting old and you can't see. It just means you got to leave out a little earlier. And you got to pick which time to go and what road to take. You might not can handle 13 no more, but you just follow the back road, and the back road will get you where you need. Because you know that you can take your time on the back road a little better than you can on the highway, because if you get in a jam and you get nervous, you can pull over side the road on a back road and sit there for a moment and regroup. But on the highway, you're bound to get run over. So it's not that your age, somebody ought to help me. It's not that your education, it's not that your ability is not there. It's just in your mind. You have programmed your mind to think that you cannot. And I'm trying to deprogram you today and tell you that you can. You can be. You can achieve. You can grow, and you can go, and you can be whatever you want to be. But you got to speak it into your life. And today I want us to look at this issue, speaking life and death, most especially the benefits and the consequences of what we speak. And then hopefully by the time we close, we can practice speaking life into our own lives. The text says, Clarence, lest I saturate this message with the focal scripture, the tongue has the power of life and death. And if this is true, if the tongue really does have the power over life and death, then how can we speak life into our situations? How can I, and I'm looking at what I'm facing, this is where I want to be, and I see the trouble in front of me. The doctor is telling me how bad the sickness is. The lawyer is laying out before my child what the consequences are. My husband has done told me how he feels. My wife, my boo, under the cover, over the cover, has told me what they feel about me. How can I speak life? How can I speak victory and not defeat, ups and not downs, ins and not outs. How can we make sure, preach boy, because they ain't happened yet. How can we make sure that we speak life and speak it not only over ourselves, but over our ministries, over our churches? Somebody missed that. Over our job. I shall not lose. If I lose my job, God is going to provide for me. So my testimony is, if I lose my job, God is going to make a way. If I get sick, God is going to take care of my body. If I do lose my wife, lose my husband, God is going to give me what I need or who I need to be a part of mine. How can I be more positive? Why are we so negative anyway? What has caused our nature to create in us a spirit of negativity? Why do we fear that we're always the underdog? Why do we fear that it's because of the white man that we don't have? It ain't got nothing to do with Mr. Charlie. Has nothing to do with Mr. Charlie. I know I'm messing with some folk in here. Has nothing to do with Mr. Charlie. Has nothing to do with anybody standing in your way. It's nothing standing in your way. God said in his word, with God all things. He didn't specify some things. He didn't say a little bit over here, a little bit over there. Everything we set our hand to do, God has promised us that if we trust him, he'll bring us. Now, first thing we need to do here, if we are to speak life and not death over every issue in our lives, number one, if you can find the Clarence, we got to believe that we are able. I said we got to believe that we are able. We speak life and daily by believing that we are able. Now, Palmer, you just use one word, able. Yeah, I use one word, able. Because you can fill in able any way you want. I'm able to go back to school. I'm able to get out of debt. I'm able to walk away from this no-counting nigger. I'm able to walk away from this niggerette. I'm able to get on my feet. I'm able to, somebody don't like it, I know you don't. I'm able to get a better job. I'm able to get up be on time. I'm able to provide for my family. I'm able. You got to start speaking things into your life as though they were already. That's you it's ratchet. No. But I've just come to the point in my life where I've got to recognize, where we have to recognize that the time has come for us to tell ourselves, no longer can we say no to ourselves. We can be healed. We can be delivered. We can receive whatever it is that we need from God. And the Bible teaches us that. When God parted the Red Sea, that was God giving his people the ability to be able. When Jonah went down in the belly of a rockfish, and God allowed him not to be devoured by said fish, that was God giving Jonah the ability to be able. When Isaiah's uncle died and he didn't realize how he was going to make it because Uzziah was now dead, and he said, "Here am I, send me," and the coals were laid on his lips, and now he was changed. That was God's way of telling Isaiah that he was able. When Daniel went in the lion's den and laid down beside the lions, and the lion served as a seal apostropedic for Daniel's head, that was God's way of telling Daniel, "I am able." When John went out making the way for Jesus, and he was talked about and ridiculed and crucified and tied and did so many things to him, that was God's way of telling John, "I am able." And when Jesus hung on the cross, when he hung on the cross between two thieves, went down in the grave and got up early, that was God's way of telling us that he's able. And if he's able to take care of them, surely he can take care of our little bit of stuff. If he was able to bring Jairus' daughter and the woman with an issue of blood, surely, somebody ought to help me preach a little while, he can take care of our situations. We got to believe that we're able. How do you believe that you're able? First of all, you got to understand who's on your side. That's why I told those children that they got to keep the circle small. Because if you keep your circle large, you don't have any room for Jesus. When my circle is small, that gives Jesus an opportunity to work miracles in my life. When I keep my circle small, that gives Jesus an opportunity to minister to my head. When I keep my circle, y'all ain't helping me. When I keep my circle small, that gives Jesus an opportunity to work on some stuff in my life. Because if my circle was too large, I would not have time to listen to him. And then, not only somebody's phone ringing, not only do I need to be able, somebody's phone ringing, not only do I'm not here, somebody's phone, I need to become a church that speaks life. I need to become a church that believes that we are able. Ebenezer, you need to become a church that believes you are able to do what needs to be done wherever it needs to be done. You've got to believe that whatever ministry you are able to make that ministry do some meaningful work. You have to believe that God has the power to make you able to do whatever it is you need to do. And somebody in here today has an able testimony of how you thought you couldn't make it, but God provided for you, and now you are able. You thought you wasn't coming out of the hospital, but God provided for you and made you able. You thought you couldn't raise children by yourself, and now all your children are grown and you are able. You thought you couldn't raise your grandchildren, and here you are 5, 10, 11 years into being a grandparent/parent. God has made you. I need this church to declare unto itself that we're able. We don't see how God is going to do it, but God's going to do it. You didn't see how God was going to heal you, but God healed you. You don't know how, you don't understand how God works through your medication both the daytime and the nighttime. Sometimes you take it wrong. You take the night for the day and the day for the night. But at the end of the day, God still blesses you. God still keeps you. Come on and help me. Then not only do we need to recognize about his able, but clients you can find it. Number 2, we need to place our focus in the right area. If I'm going to speak life to my situation, I got to be focused on the right thing. One of the reasons why we are not persons who speak life into our situation is because our focus is always in the wrong place. I got to get out of here. We don't believe things are going to get better because we are too busy focusing on the negatives. And some of you may suggest that the positives are not there, but I need to remind you that wherever God is, positive is there. Whenever God puts his heavenly jumper cables on your dead battery, God makes ways out of no ways. Give me Matthew 28:20 as I get out of here. No wonder God said, and I will be with you always, even until the end of the earth. So I speak life today. I speak life into your situation. I say no longer will you be negative. No longer will you go through trials and tribulations on your own. No longer will you have to face the world by yourself. You are more than a conqueror. You can do all things through Christ. You are a child of the King. You will be a survivor. You will be victorious. You will hold on to your job. You will keep your children intact. You will keep your house. You will keep your car. You will get another one. You will be healthy. You will be wise. You will be straight. You will have your right mind. You will keep your right facilities. You will. As long as I got Jesus on my side, I can go anywhere I want to go. Anybody in here today know that God has the power to take care of you? God has the power to lift you up. God has the power to turn you around. God has the power to keep you from falling. Speak life to your children. Stop telling your children they're crazy. Stop telling your children they were a mistake. Stop telling your children they're dumb. Your children aren't dumb. Your children are smarter than you, and they can pick up on some things. Stop telling your husband he no count. Stop telling your husband he ain't worth nothing. Stop telling your wife she can't cook. Even if she can't cook, don't tell her she can't cook. If she can't cook, give her some teaching, give her some cooking classes. If he won't do right, carry him somewhere and help him and show them what you want him to do. You shall be victorious. You shall be healed. You shall be delivered. You shall keep your job. You shall pay your mortgage. You shall not be foreclosed on. You shall not be repossessed. You shall not die from cancer. Your sugar will be maintained. Your asthma will be under control. Your blood pressure will be right. Your mama will start loving you. Your daddy will get it better. Your wife will come out of the hospital. Your father will get better. But you've got to believe it, and you've got to speak it, and you've got to declare that God is. Anytime the Lord can take a thief back to heaven with him, anytime the Lord can come out of his own self, come down through 40 and 2 generations, walk just like normal men, work in another man's shop, walk another man's street, eat in another man's upper room, down another man's cross, go down in another man's grave, get up in another man's world. Surely tell your children they're smart. Tell your children they're important. Tell your children they're pretty. Tell yourself you pretty. Even when you're having a bad hair day, pull your head back, run your fingers through your hair, and tell yourself in the mirror, I am pretty. I am beautiful. I am gorgeous. I don't need no man to tell me. I don't need no woman to tell me. I don't need my mama or papa to tell me. I am smart. I am victorious. I am saved. I am sanctified. I am filled with the Holy Ghost. I am. Kept y'all too long. I kept y'all too long. I kept you too long. I kept you too long. But God is. Yes, he is. That's all. I'm not messing with y'all. I'm going to stand up all over the church. Let's go home. Learn how to speak life. Stop messing with me, Jake Ball. Learn how to speak life. Learn how to speak life. You're not stupid. Stop letting people call you out your name. Tell them your name is what your mama named you. And your mama didn't name, I saw a girl last night, and I said, what your daddy call you? He called me Monkey. I wanted to tell her, but I done said enough in 1 year. Said not even June, I done already said enough to people. But I wanted to tell her, baby, you don't look like no monkey. I know what a monkey look like. And you far from a monkey. Stop calling your children out their name. I call Sierra Baby Cakes because she's my baby cakes. I don't call her monkey. I don't call her an orangutan. Even when she gets under my skin and gets all up in my wallet, I don't call her out of her name. My dog's name is Oreo. His name is not Mutt. You call him mutt, he will act like. You call her monkey, she will act like. Y'all laughing, but I'm serious. You call them stupid act while they'll start acting like they're stupid. Speak life. I'm old. No, you're not. Age ain't nothing. Some old player ought to help me here. Where my old players at? Don't you raise your hand. Keep your hands down. Age ain't nothing but a number. Y'all ain't smiling. Y'all must be the old player. Speak life into your situation. Boyfriend, you're not going to take control. You're not going to control my life no more. Girlfriend, you done. You done in my wallet. If you're not going to walk down the aisle, my wallet is temporarily closed. Son, you will do good in school. Your F's will turn to A's. You shall be educated. You will be smart. Daughter, you will not make mistakes. Not the ones I made anyhow. You will do better. You will come home on time. I will be standing there with a shotgun for your boyfriend. Grandmama, you shall not die. Not now, no how. You will live, if it's not but just another hour. You shall live. Cancer, you have no place in here. Asthma, you shall not take my lungs. Sugar, you shall not put me on insulin. You shall be controlled. I don't know what's happening to me. You shall be delivered. You shall be set free. Alzheimer's, you will not take my father. You will not take my mother. My mama will always know who her child is. Speak life. I done kept you too long, I'm sorry. You know I don't normally keep you this long. But I want you to speak life. Go on your job tomorrow. I shall keep my job. And if by chance I got to leave this job, God shall supply my needs. That's a speak in tongue moment right there. If I don't keep my job, then my testimony is still positive. God shall supply. I shall get a Cadillac. Yeah, Lord. It shall be black. You got, I'm saying, I shall move out of this trailer and into a double wide. I shall get a promotion. I shall get another degree. I shall go back to school. My children shall be saved. My house shall be secure. My father who lives by himself shall be protected. Oh, I wish I had a praying church. My wife shall come out of the hospital. My father shall be healed. My son shall go to college. My daughter shall be somebody. If you're here today and you're out of the ark of safety, yeah, she shall get a BMW. And I shall get a Cadillac. All right. If you're here and you're not saved. But now, that's crazy talk. Y'all laugh, but I'm going to tell you something. Whole lot of people been blessed by speaking it into existence. Whole lot of y'all went on the car lot, and you know you had a 510. You know your beacon score was low. But when you came back home in something you never dreamed. You look back on your father and your mother sending you to school, whether it was high school, college, or whatever, and they sent you off 15 and 20 cents a day. Come on now. No, y'all don't want to talk about that. 15, 20 cents a day. Sometimes you wasn't even making that. Your father was sharecropping. But you went to high school. You got a high school ring. Might not know where it is, but you got one. And some of y'all went to college, may didn't finish. That was because you didn't want to finish. But it wasn't because it wasn't there. Some of you have been healed from sickness, healed from cancer. Doctor told you there was nothing they could do. 6 weeks later, had a little surgery. 2 weeks later, the doctor said, guess what? I can't find nothing. He keeps right on blessing me. Over. Anybody want to say over? And over and over again. So y'all gonna speak life now. You're gonna tell yourself what you're gonna be. You're gonna tell your chaps what they're gonna be. You're gonna tell